Okay, so today what we're gonna do is we're gonna look at Umar throw black women under the bus.
Sister Vanita in Houston said, "Black men control marriage, so women get married later in life because black men decide to settle down later in their life."
Mm-hmm.
But so do black women, though, Sister Vanita. I agree with you, but I think it's true for women. Let me give you an example.
Mm-hmm.
A beautiful black woman
Mm-hmm.
who is addicted to male attention is not going to get married young.
What does it have to do with the initial question? What does that have to do with the initial statement or question that was asked?
A beautiful black woman who got her own everything going on is not going to rush to get married because she's in love with the attention. Now, the problem,
Is she in love with the attention or is she just not finding the right one for her? She knows what she wants. She has standards. So now you've taken an attractive woman and made it her fault that she's choosing not to get married.
problem is when black women are so in love with male attention that they pass up on all these good prospective husbands. And then,
So now he's making the assumption that these women are automatically passing up good husbands. That makes no sense. If you're in love with male attention, wouldn't you want to be married? When you want a solid situation, a man you can come home that can cater to you every day?
when they get 40, 45, they want to settle down. And the brothers can tell.
Is it that when they get 40 to 45, they want to settle down, or is it they've always wanted to be married, but they've played around with a certain type of man, or they've tolerated a certain type of man that when he wanted to get married at that age, then he would go ahead and, well, I might as well do it.
Tell that the reason you're not married as beautiful as you are is because you was playing around, throwing that goose around, that loosey goosey. You was throwing that loosey goosey all around town, and now you realize you almost the 50 years old and you want to settle, and a man can look at you and say, a woman this beautiful would not be unmarried.
Why is he not married at that age? Why is he not married at that age? Number one. Number two, why is everything sexual? So, first of all, she's pretty. Now she's a whore. She's throwing it around all over town.
Unless she was a serial monogamist. A man in his 40s or 50s meeting a drop dead gorgeous woman, who ain't married, he knows why. When in your 20s and your 30s, you was a serial monogamist. You played the field. And now
Mm,
that goose is running out of gas. And now that goose is running out of gas.
hmm
And now what was the newest car on the block is now a classic.
Why is, first of all, you're sexualizing this woman. Secondly, why are women, black women, always compared to objects? I don't get it. So, back to Umar's nonsense. What about the average looking woman or women? What about them? What's their excuse for making it that far? Since they're not drop dead gorgeous, since they're not addicted to the male attention, what's their issue? Hmm. Okay.
And what was the newest car on the block is now a classic. Sisters, sisters, when you hit that 35, you need to get focused and get wiped up by your 40th. Okay? Stop playing until you're 45. Stop doing that. It's not a good look.
Anywho, you need to get wifed up. So you need to take anything that comes to you. You need to lower your standards. Do you understand how he's throwing women under the bus? He's completely taken what that woman said initially and switched it around, and he's making it a women is your fault. Okay.
Another epidemic I'm going to talk about in my new book coming out for sisters only relationships and dating. And that
What?
is at 35 and no kids, you're perfectly fine. Just start paying attention to your options. That's all. 35 black woman, no kids, you're fine. You're good. Just start paying attention to your options. If you're 35 and single, you should be wiped up by your 40s.
Mm,
You
mm.
might need to send me a wifey resume. Stay focused, brothers. We must stay focused. But the other issue I'm gonna write
Such
about
a mess.
in my For Sisters Only book deals with black women who propose to black men. There is
Nonsense.
a new trend where the women propose to the man.
That's a lie. A trend is something that's popular. A trend is something that most of the crowd goes with. A trend is something that you can look left and right and see. A trend is not seeing a couple of bozos online doing it. A trend is not let's blow up the same two people and talk about it and beat it into the ground. That's not a trend. That's just a select few that's been polarized. That is not a trend. Do you know anybody other than one person? Do you know more than one person, one woman that has proposed to a man? Do you see that in your everyday life or have you just seen it on the internet? Okay.
Sisters are inboxing me, asking me, Dr. Umar, is it appropriate if I propose to the man? I'm going to give you my answer.
Listen to this
I'm going to give it to
nonsense.
you now, quickly, and then I'm going to give you the extended version in the new book.
That's
The new
nonsense.
book.
Foolishness.
The cash app for FBG.
No.
I do not have a problem with a sister proposing to a man if she is sure he don't have a problem being proposed to.
Makes
Listen to me,
sense.
black women. Butter almond, listen up. Butter pecan, listen up. Hot peanut butter, pistachio, fudge, African vanilla, pina colada. Listen to me. Hot caramel, sweet
Move
brown.
on,
Listen to
stupid.
me. Some men come from a very strong chauvinist family upbringing where gender roles are clearly defined. And marriage proposals are only supposed to come from the man in certain home and religious culture. If you propose to a man who does not believe a woman should ever be the proposer, he might view you as thirsty. Stay with me. Understand, overstand, and understand.
Move on.
Understand, overstand, and understand.
We heard you.
Okay? Don't be a light-skinned supremacist, my brother. Don't be a light-skinned supremacist, my brother. Don't do that. And don't be a dark-skinned supremacist. No color supremacy in Pan-Africanism.
Focus,
No skin
Umar.
tone supremacy. Because when I married my two wives last Saturday, I had a lot to say about their skin tone.
That was a
When I
foolish.
married my two wives last Saturday, y'all had a lot to say about their skin tone. When I married my two wives last Saturday, y'all had a lot to say about their skin tone. Sister Candace is a beautiful sister. Sister Janie is a beautiful sister. Sister Candace is a beautiful sister. Sister Janie is a beautiful sister. I don't care what complexion they are. They're both beautiful women. They should not have had to endure the insults and taunts from our dark-skinned supremacy community. Some of you in the dark-skinned supremacy community took issue with the fact that Dr. Umar, I have a problem with you, with that, brothers and sisters. African is African. That's why my two queens will not be the same complexion. But Candace and Janie were not. Candace was more of.
Really?
But anyway, let's stay focused.
Let's stay
Ladies,
focused.
you must know the mentality of your would-be mate before you get down on one knee and propose. Ladies, you must know the mentality of your would-be mate before you get down and propose. Now, what would Dr. Umar say if a woman proposed to me? First of all, don't propose to me. That's the other thing too, ladies. You gotta make sure he gonna say yes. Because if a lady proposes to a man and he says no, you're going to be crushed because you've already stepped out of your traditional gender role and you got rejected. So you gotta know your mate. You gotta know your mate. But if you know that man is in love with you but he's scared to commit, here's the perfect time to propose to your man. This is the perfect time to propose to your man. Candace is beautiful too. Candace and Jamie, they're both beautiful. Jamie had to cut stuff. But listen, stay focused.
If you have Okay, so of course we have to go through a commercial, but I want you to listen to this nonsense carefully.
Focus, stay focused. The perfect time for you to propose, and I will be getting married every fashion show. Next fashion show, I'm going to an African wedding. Next fashion show. Ladies, don't start proposing to me at the lectures. Nah, don't start that. No. If you get down on one knee and propose to me at a lecture, I'm gonna have security escort you out. Ladies, we ain't doing that. We not. You will not propose to me, ladies, at no damn lecture. Cut it out. Now let's stay focused. But let me give you the perfect time when it's okay for a woman to propose.
Come on.
The perfect time when it's okay for a woman to propose to a man is when you know he loves you. That man loves you.
Why would you propose to him if he loves you? If he was so in love with you and he valued you, why would you have to assume his role? Because he just admitted that that's a masculine thing to do. Why would you have to abandon your feminine charm, your feminine role, and now step into the masculine and propose to him because you know that he loves you? Do you get that? Okay.
But he has some fears, reservations about commitment or marriage. He loves you, though. You know he loves you. You know you number one. some things he didn't like. You might have cheated or whatever. He loves you, but he hurt and he don't know if he can trust you. Then you got to give him some reassurance. That's what you propose.
What in a Cardi B and Offset nonsense is this? I love you, but I don't trust you. Okay, let's get married. When you're dating, you have nothing except for an agreement holding you together.
In other words, when the gap between you and him is this close, and the only thing between you and him and that wedding, the gap between y'all is this small, and the only thing between you and him and jumping that broom is a little bit of insecurity, a little bit of doubt, a little bit of the fear of commitment. If that's the only thing that keeps the two of you apart, I think it's okay for you to propose to him.
That's insanity. He does not trust you. Why would you go on to have a legal commitment with him? Why would you spend the money that it takes for a wedding or a just going to the courthouse or whatever the case may be? Why would you move forward on a shaky foundation? The foundation is not solid. So he's telling you, go ahead, get with this person that you don't firmly trust or that does not firmly trust you. Switch it around. He's cheated on you and cheated on you, but he won't leave you. But he pays for he protects and provides, but he cheats on you. And you don't trust him around other women. Why would you marry him? Let's do it another way. You're entering a partnership for business, and your business partner is kind of questionable. Why would you go ahead and start a larger business, or why would you take out a loan where both of you are responsible for this money, and if they don't decide not to pay the loan back, it's all on you? Do you understand how you can put this in different perspectives and still don't make a damn lick of sense? See how he's throwing black women? He's taking this whole, oh my God, he's taking this whole thing and he's just throwing it onto black women.
Seal the deal. Seal the deal.
Why?
But if you don't know how you feel about you don't know how you feel about a woman proposing, nah, don't do it. You got to be certain that man loves you, certain that man wants you. In the gap, you got to be this close.
Why should there be a gap? You're making a commitment that should last for a lifetime. You should be separated by death and death only. And a natural death, not one of you all strangling each other out. How much sense does this make? None. None.
Now,
He said nothing else. But yes, I just wanted you to hear the nonsense of what he's pushing. Now, mind you, he's blaming black women for not being married at a certain age. He's encouraging black women to go ahead and just, well, y'all together, so you might as well get married. And yet he's going to tell you 10 times per live that you need to give him money for a school that's going to be dedicated to boys and boys alone. And he's telling you how you need to look once you go there. Your hair has to be a certain way. And on top of that, he's telling you that, well, it was supposed to be open in September. Then, well, by October 31st, 2021. And if not, then, well, it's up to God. It's God's will. So you don't have a solid date. You having these little block parties. You having these mock weddings with these women in ill that are ill dressed. You, y'all see this? But okay, leave your comments down below if you caught something that I didn't, if you don't agree, whatever the case may be. I just want you to see this nonsense, and maybe you agree with me, maybe you don't. Let's talk about it.